And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Delvecchio here, specializing in home care, elder care planning, and the senior living industry. Thank you very much for tuning in on a chilly Sunday here. You know, sometimes we take things for granted living in our country. Well, could you imagine leaving your country because of war, conflict, political instability, lack of freedoms, or maybe even fear of persecution? There are people in this world that have left their country in the hopes of living a better life in Canada, and Montreal in particular. Well, thank goodness for organizations like Welcome Collective that are helping our refugees, many of whom have lived through atrocities and really unimaginable circumstances. Welcome Collective collects essential items from donors across the city and deliver them to refugee claimant families, and also connect those families with local volunteers who provide information and orientation to help them settle and integrate into their new communities. Well, joining me in studio today is Executive Director of the Welcome Collective, Dina Souleiman. Dina, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you, Matt. Nice to be here.
Well, thank you for coming in here on a Sunday, and really it's just amazing work that the Welcome Collective is doing. So first of all, tell us about your role at the Welcome Collective.
Well, my position is executive director, so I obviously have the responsibility of overseeing the organization, but I work with 19 fabulous people, 19 full-timers, and we have over 100 volunteers who work with us on a daily basis and permit us to do all the work that we do.
Really just a special organization. I didn't realize there's that many people involved, and we're going to talk about those amazing volunteers that is the engine behind Welcome Collective. But just for our listeners, what specific services does the Welcome Collective offer to refugees when they arrive in their new country?
So the way we see our role, our emphasis is to make sure that sort of first couple of months people are accompanied. So what does that mean? Making sure they have all their sort of essential materials that they need as they enter the new apartments, making sure they understand the community resources, making sure they navigate all the administrative paperwork. So those are our frontline services. We have an excellent online resource guide as well. If you can't come to our warehouse, we offer workshops on the asylum process. So really look at it as that sort of first 1 to 3 month period. What do you need as an asylum seeker coming into a new country, and how can you integrate and settle, and everything that you would need from A to Z. And then obviously, if services we can't offer, we make sure that they're linked up to the appropriate services in the community.
So you are even down to the furniture to set them up in the apartment. You're collecting furniture, you're storing it, and you're setting up these refugees through your network of people. So we were talking off air, and in my world, we get so often where families or couples or even mom or dad are downsizing, and they're looking to donate furniture, and this is exactly what you're looking for too, right? For the furniture, because you're able to take that. You've got a whole network of even picking up furniture. There's a process involved, because not all furniture, if it's too big for a small apartment, which makes perfect sense, but it's just very reassuring that, especially for someone who's worked their entire lives, came from nothing, and has built up this house and has to downsize, knowing that their furniture and their goods are supporting a refugee family. And you're seeing that at the other end of things, right?
Absolutely. I mean, people have to understand that when asylum seekers leave the shelters, they're going into empty apartments. There's nothing in the apartments. People are sleeping on the floor. So your sofa, the bed, the chair, the dining room table, everything will have a purpose. And you can't imagine the joy this all provides to a newly arrived refugee family. And when I say people are sleeping on the floor, they are sleeping on the floor. It's not an exaggeration.
Literally on the floor. Listening to Life Unrehearsed, Matt Delvecchio here, and I'm talking with Dina Souleiman from the Welcome Collective about supporting refugee claimants. So how long, typical duration of support provided to refugees coming into Montreal?
So on our end, I mentioned that we're really there for that initial period to make sure when they walk into their first apartment, they have all the essential materials that they need, a bed to sleep on, dining room table, chairs. We want to make sure they sort of understand the community resources, how to register their children for school. So the normal trajectory would be 1 to 6 months. That's sort of the initial period. But we've been around for 5 years, and we still have relationships with many of the families that we initially helped. So people will come back to us at different times. But really the emphasis is, I would say, 0 to 6 months. We've had people arrive from the airport and come straight to us because they've heard word of mouth that we exist and know the resources we offer. So that's our emphasis.
Sometimes we do have to step back, and life really is relative, and we are a little spoiled here, especially if you're multi-generation, you've been in the country for a long time. And when you hear the stories that you see on a day-to-day basis, must be heart-wrenching, but also gratifying to be able to see the work of everyone and helping out. So can you share what are some of the common challenges of a refugee coming into the country? What do they have to deal with?
It really is A to Z. I mean, you have to sort of imagine the trajectory of an asylum seeker. They've left their country for reasons of violence, conflict, they're being persecuted. They've often traveled maybe through a few countries to get to Canada. Canada has this amazing refugee settlement program. We have a reputation, a global reputation. They're coming here. Some may have a basic grasp of English and French. There could be linguistic challenges. You're coming to a new country. So the challenges are navigating the asylum process, navigating how to find housing, how to register your children in school, accessing legal aid. People are coming in, they have no money. Most of them will be on welfare. So you have all those sort of basic sort of settlement challenges. And then, after that, it's finding work, accessing childcare. Refugee claimants don't have access to subsidized childcare. Also, to add as well, there are systemic issues here that, apart from the reality of the day-to-day of settlement and integration and understanding the system and healthcare, then there are going to be obstacles. They do hear the rhetoric that's being mentioned around asylum seekers. They hear the news. They understand the challenges that they will face. So that all plays into their challenges, and we really are here to support them, provide a platform for them to contribute to society, give their opinion. We've been approached a lot about the realities of asylum seekers. We want asylum seekers to speak on their behalf of what they're facing, and hopefully we're working together to make some changes as well. One example that we saw, I started working at Welcome Collective 2 years ago. It would take an asylum seeker over a year, 2 years to get their work permits. We saw that as a challenge. We addressed it. We contacted the media. Many asylum seekers spoke about the court situation, and that's been accelerated, but it could still be faster.
And you're advocating for them as well. We're quickly running to, we have about 30 seconds. I do want to talk about these wonderful volunteers. You mentioned over 100 of them, and let's get a shout out to them and their role.
We're looking for volunteers across the board in our warehouse, in our volunteer pairing program, helping with receiving asylum seekers who come for general inquiries. So I would recommend that you go to our website, welcomecollective.org. You're going to find all the information there to become a volunteer, to donate, whether material donations or financial donations, and to learn more about us. All the information is on our website, welcomecollective.org.
Well, that's wonderful. Dina, thank you so much for coming in, and wish you continued success doing incredible work for people that can truly benefit from you, and you're seeing firsthand the benefits. And thank you for everyone donating to Welcome Collective, because you are giving a second life to refugees. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's Dina Souleiman. She's the executive director of the Welcome Collective, and you could look them up at welcomecollective.org.